Welcome back, everyone, to the Ivy Plus versus COVID-19 charity tournament stream. My name is XT. I am joined here with Coco the Dragon, and here we are in the depths of the losers bracket, the final shining hope to see if you can make it to the grand finals and win two in a row to win it all. We are in the losers finals featuring Columbia taking on Brown University.
Yeah, and we were waiting for Columbia versus UPenn to wrap up, and that result was pretty surprising. Columbia College did really well. They actually pulled out a mid Lucian, as a matter of fact, so pretty darn impressive. And it's something that we have to keep an eye on as well. Is this Lucian Oriana switcheroo? They've been holding on to it. They've been playing through this entire tournament with it, and it's been providing different results to than that of what we've been seeing with Brown University with their Maokai reliability. Like we just saw it picked up again in top lane against Stanford. Didn't really do too well, especially when you picked it blind. So it's something where these reliable picks, these reliable grabs for these teams have shown varied results, and that might actually be the be all end all for these teams as well. Because you never know. Like if you take those comfort picks off, if you take Dench away from Maokai, what else does he have? Right. So same thing
Right.
with FPX and Sugli is like, what do you have if Lucian's off the table? Like, where do you go to after that? If Ezreal's taken away from Stanford, if you go into the grand finals. So there's a lot of things
Right.
that these comfort picks do have this consequence, no matter where you go.
Yeah, definitely. And something I'm really looking forward to is like the first thing is like, when you have to say as Dench, be like, maybe Orin might be the safer pick here because I feel like Maokai, yes, while I do admit he does have a lot of strong matchups, he also does have a lot of unfortunate matchups. And every single game he's in so far, he's been playing in the back seat, the back
Yep.
burner. He's been, bullied, strangled, cut down, and he's found a way to climb back up again and again, except for last game. But
Yeah.
while on the other side, there's a lot of blind pick potentials for Colombia. A lot of ways they don't have to reveal the cards, mainly in the Lucian Oriana. They could just show one of those champions quite early in the first rotation. Don't have to give a lot away. Also, for boys, priority on Zach may also include a priority for things like the Trundle on the other side of the map or the Olaf if you are Browns. I'm really interested to see on how this draft really plays out.
Yeah, I want to be keeping eyes on jungle and then sort of bot lane situations for this draft. Like those are going to be the key points because Slime Blob didn't do too hot last game, we'll admit, and it's something
Yep.
where that can definitely offset you. You need to get a comfort pick for Slime if you want a decent performance out of your jungler for Brown, and get something a little bit more, I'd say, active out of their team. Like when you look at their game, just from what we saw against Stanford, like you got Maokai and Nivea in your solo lanes. That is not an active game at all. You're just
Right.
sitting back and you're waiting to farm, and you let Stanford absolutely take control of the game and do whatever they wanted. Right. So this time around,
Mhm.
I'm looking for something that is a little bit more proactive in those early game stages. Maybe a
Yep.
LeBlanc, maybe something a little bit more along the lines of, say, Cassidon. Cassidon might work.
Right.
Wukong is a possibility, a nice flex
Right.
as well. And it's those things that it's like you got to grab things that have that capability to do multiple win conditions instead of just one.
Yeah. And right now we are going to be heading into the picks of bands here. Runic Sprouts and I'm2 already targeted, while Akali is going to be taken off the table along with Riven being taken away from Colombia. And Akali has been a really interesting one. I think she's been starting to pop up a lot more in 10.8, especially given how snowballing really works now with all the
Yeah.
EXP changes and whatnot. So kind of surprised to see a resurgence in her play, but nonetheless, we are going to be starting things off with pretty standard comfort bands, I guess, for both sides.
Sure. Take those out. No, don't want to deal with any of those. All of those, every single one of them is like a hyper carry. Outside of like maybe Caitlyn. Like Caitlyn, you could
Mhm.
argue is a hyper, but not too much. But this is where
Yeah.
now Brown University is again on the red side, and it's like, okay, this time hold your picks, hold some counter picks. You know you're the one that is able to grab whatever you want last. So have that in your back pocket. Tarek is the first lock in, not something you really recognize off the first start. And there's
Right.
also a Felios on the board as well. So a Felios could be grabbed up from Runic. See if you could say, you know what, get that strong marksman on that bottom side, something that can go with all supports, and maybe possibly get away with, say, a jungler. Grab that jungle pick right now and see something that can be built around those solo lanes to help like create a foundation
Yeah.
for your team.
I would even argue I think the Tarek pick is really, really strong because if you've been following um Brown so far, they've always been picking team fight oriented composition. They will never pick side lane. They were always going to be picking that Maokai, and there it is. So Tarek is actually, low key a counter because Brown is not going to be changing their playstyle.
All right, if you're really aggro and you're saying, you know what, we want a hard flex, this is where you pick Yi, like right now. This is where you pick it. Then
No.
be great with it. But,
No.
they picked the Darius, so it's like, you know what was the best thing against the tree? And Axe, obviously, and it's one of the
Yep.
best matchups that Darius has anyways. And this also means that Zach is free for the taking as well. So that was another key thing that we were concerned about that Brown might not be able to stag away from them was that Zach, who has been slowly climbing in the ranks and been
Right.
extremely strong with the new changes that have come in for the jungle.
Yeah, I would imagine right here you either pick the Rakan for the Zai Rakan lane, or you pick up something like the Trundle to really shut down the Zac whenever he engages. But the biggest key thing I am just afraid and worried for is that Trundle is getting locked in. Darius is a Maokai, dude. Trump can't catch a break, man.
Yeah.
He's just in this tournament to just get tortured. Like it's
You got to
you
give
are
it
a
up.
trooper,
To
Trump. You got to give it to him. He's blind picking Maokai every single time, and he knows what he's in for.
Yeah. I guess like I don't like it. I really don't
I agree.
agree with it when you're something that you have to put your tank in this terrible position every single time. Sure, it's on an island, but I want to see how the rest of this draft goes out, and then I'll like add my extra 2 cents and sort of motivation for Dench later on. Because now into the second ban phase, there's Oriana taken away as well as Vigar from IM2. So this is what I want out of Colombia is something that's like, you know what, take out those traditional things, play your game, see if you can grab that Lucian, or possibly something a little bit stronger with the Taric. Callista also comes to mind. Callista Taric very strong in those skirmishing situations and has some
Of
decent
course.
zone control.
Mhm.
And for Brown, right now, I'd say pick your jungle or support, or excuse me, not your jungle. Jungle's already grabbed up. Pick your support here, and then hold that mid last pick, right? So see if Rakan is banned out, then that's a little bit more of a situation. But right now, ban that or yeah, cast in right now. Yeah, take Rakan.
Yeah.
This is easy, and then wait for that mid pick.
Yeah, but once again, you also gotta wonder: is this what Colombia want? Do they want to be playing to that Zyra Khan? As maybe they do have some picks planned out. Tarek does actually do decently well into the Rakan too, so it's kind of more of a dare at this point. Something also keep in mind that Oriana Lucian combination that Colombia has been running for quite a while. That's gonna get taken away. Morgana is going to be the pickup here, and I think I would prefer that a little bit over that blind Rakan.
I'd argue it,
Yeah.
honestly. Like Morgana's
Mhm.
good, yes, it gives you the black shield and gives you a little
Yep.
bit more defensibility. But what poke do you have with that, right? Like when Morgana's strong lanes are when she has someone that can punish those long range binds, when things are not like expected to land. So things like the Ezreal and the Caitlyn are things that are strong with that. When you pick something that's a little bit more mid to short range like Zaya, it doesn't really amplify the Morgana as much. For where like Rakan is more of a
True.
skill matchup with Taric. So it's like if you're able to play it out, it's going to do wonders for you. So you could say, it's a comfort thing for Cat Mom. That Cat Mom will just
Mm.
grab Morgana because she's more familiar with it, or he's more familiar with it, right?
Yeah.
And going into Vayne Taric, you got a lane that is not going to do too well in those early trades. Like, just get that early trade and beat the crap out of them. And while we were talking about
Ooh.
this, Syndra and Vel'Koz are going to be our final lock-ins.
See, now here's the big brain one. All right, hear me out. You put Vayne in the top lane, Darius in the mid lane, Syndra Tark bot, and you continue. I can't do that to Dench.
I would not put it past Columbia, dude. I would not put it past like Vayne is insane and will be like
Yeah,
absolutely ridiculous. Like you could do it,
but
honestly.
it's probably
Like
gonna be standard lanes. Yeah.
yeah, like I don't know what the rules are with us with switching, but I usually would say it's 20 seconds. Like 20 seconds is the final lock in. So, there you go. Like now with all these lanes figured out, this is something where being locked in as a tank top lane, like permanent tank top, you don't want to be in that situation where you're getting bullied every single time in your lane. So, what
Mhm.
do? Well, you usually grab teleport when you're in top lane and see if you can find kills and assists elsewhere. Like this is
Yeah.
something for you that Darius is going to take turret plates no matter what you're going to do. If you're able to find some hiccups, if Columbia gets a little bit greedy on the bottom side, if you throw deep wards there, if Catmom's helping you out, if I'm two's helping you out, saying, hey, look, my lane's not doing too hot, or hey, we can actually grab a pick here with two members instead of just one, then maybe you're able to actually get some advantages onto your side. So I want more activity out of the Brown University team because every single draft that they've grabbed, they've just been playing the late game wait out will scale. It's winnable chat. And it's not something that has turned out for the better in this final hour of this tournament.
Yeah. Something I'm really worried about here is that sure you have the black shield, but I really just I I'm not a fan of this Vel'Koz pick at all, especially when you're playing into something like Zek, who's able to just punish your immobility. Something I would have maybe liked to have seen maybe the Azir or something like the Corki to also provide some scaling and also some safe laning. But given that you are against a Syndra, there's not really much options you have available. But once again, it's the same story here for Brown. And I'm wondering if they can get away with this one more time because, hey, granted, they've been running the same strategy, all the way to winners finals. They're now in losers finals, trying to see if they can make it to grand finals. But you have to wonder if Colombia is going to be able to stop them in their tracks. But before we can even talk about that, we are going to be going into a short break as we do have the spectator delay. When we come back, myself and Coco will be able to discuss how this losers finals is going to break down between Columbia and Brown University. You don't want to miss this. We'll be right back.
My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side. My love,
Welcome back, folks, to the Ivy Plus versus COVID-19 charity tournament. We are currently watching the losers finals between, uh, you know, I completely okay. I messed that up. So Columbia versus Brown. Like I saw the tag CU 219. I'm like
The year is
definitely brain farted.
2020. The day is April 25th. At
XT
7:16 p.m. Pacific time, XT had lost his mind. Truly tragic.
It is truly a tragic time, but here we go, folks. Losers finals. Nothing really too crazy happening right now. Rollbacks happening by both junglers. They're just gonna get the red trinkets for themselves. And something I do kind of really want to note first of all, Conqueror as opposed to Breast Attack here on this Trundle. This is pretty interesting to me.
Yes, like it's something for the more extended fights. It will turn out eventually. Like Conqueror Trundle is nothing new.
Right.
And apparently neither is the Abstract. The only thing that is new is Runic Sprouts is running that cleanse on Xayah. So
Yeah.
that just tells me that they are wanting to play a little bit more on the back foot. They're saying, you know what, if we get caught out, if Zulugi and Broski decide to be a little bit more aggressive with a barrier heal lane, then we have some defenses to go ahead and back off. And, you know, I guess that just it just plays into the Brown University mindset of just don't worry, we scale kind of mentality. And it is a way to win a game. So for me, more power to them. Just this time around, be a little bit more active, and I'm looking specifically at IM2 and Denshump. Like, play around Slime, see if you can get some control here. Like,
Right.
the voice Zac will get out of hand if you let it. And that's the problem with a lot of these games that Brown has had, is that the teams usually don't actually take that initiative. And that's why they've been undefeated till now, right? So for them to be a little bit more active will actually help them out in that scaling game, because it doesn't mean that Columbia can just take this game and just go out of control with it. So I'm going to be interested to see if they're going to be running that down. Another thing too is, like, off the broadcast, like, you and I both sort of made a little bet that if we do get Ocean Dragon Soul, then we'll donate to the cause. Because, you know, this tournament is sort of helped brought together with FlyQuest. They're not here to do the donations, but, you know, Tree Quest is still a thing, so I'm down to do it.
Of course. Yeah, and you know, on the other side, you know, if you think Evil Geniuses, every time Maokai dies, you know, it's also something to consider.
we're gonna do like 50 cents for that? I don't know. That's a
Baby.
I don't know, with that Darius, that might be a little rough, but we'll have to see.
Yeah. We'll see. If it, okay, if the okay, I don't want to put that how many times the Maokai's gonna die, but it's just something I'll consider. It's just funny how, you know, the FlyQuest Evil Genius rivalry is kind of at play here, as, you know, we're helping the trees with the Ocean Drakes, and then we're like, you know, also screw the trees too, because we've got the Darius at the top lane. Something very interesting, though, we are seeing a potential 3-man gank here coming out for Columbia, or just a 2-man. Here comes the Darius, and Vel'Koz is just gonna back away.
Well, he pinged him out. He knew that he was there. This is where it's like, this is what I wanted to see of Dench, like with Maokai, saying, you know what, when you're ready, like, you don't need to do it now when Messi has pushed you into your turret and you need to actually farm to keep pace. But it's like, do be active, be looking around, seeing, hey, Slugi and Broski, they're a little bit extended. Let's see if we can find a pick. Like, you're Maokai, you have CC for days. So sort of transition and adopt that mindset that Messi put in there, where it's like, you know what, when you're comfortable, look for those anticipations. Because even though you're on an island in top lane, hypothetically, doesn't mean you have to be, and you can go swim to other shores if need possible. Like, so far, it's doing pretty well for both of them.
Looks like right now, Messi well caught. Really wants to see if he could get the freeze here. Get the red wave pushing towards this tower, and only try to see if he could deny as much CS as possible from this Maokai, but we are going to be getting a gank at the top side. Zac is going to be looking to see if he can get the knockdown. He's able to get a connect. Gets the Q, and Denshump more than dead here. First blood going to be going over to the Darius.
Alright, so what are you going to do about it here, Brown? Now you know that this top side is sort of losing some pressure here. See if you can find something on that end. Slime is in no way, shape, or form ready at the time, pings already came out. You actually saw Rui on that minimap drop a ward right on top of Blob. And that means that they know where he is. They can keep track of him. They say, all right, he's top side. He's doing his chickens. Perfect. Let's go bottom side. We know it's safe for us, and we can go ahead and clear it out. No problem. And Footboy will be able to just continue to power level. Might even be able to actually look for a possible gank here if Runic and Dr. Catmom sort of overextend their stay.
We are going to be looking at the chain vest buy here on the Maokai. Gonna opt to not buy any potions whatsoever either. And I'm pretty sure that's gonna also mean Ninja Stabby is in the works for the Maokai.
Yeah. And this is something that like is a little bit of a difference between players who are behind and players that struggle to play from behind is when you do go this route, when you do like let's say give up first blood, or you're struggling in CS differential, going boots is usually like the safest play, right? Because you can get the Ninja Tabby, it helps with the defenses, dealing with someone who auto attacks a lot like Darius, and also it gives you that mobility to escape any overly aggressive plays that people might be trying to like prey onto you and continue to stack onto. So it's like going boots is that safer route. The chain vest is it's nice, it builds into that first item, but it usually does get overvalued at this stage in the game. So for now, Brown, keep your eyes on this bottom lane, see if you can possibly get this mountain dragon, because if you're able to get Dragon Soul or get some dragons under your belt, that will inevitably help you with your scaling set.
And Brown especially, if it is going to be Ocean Soul, I think that benefits your team greatly, especially with the likes of Maokai being beat at infinite sustain tank, and also, you know, Vel'Koz with some of that poke. Rui gonna take a little bit of poke here, pops the flash, and really nicely done by too.
Well, not only that, but the fact that she had just teleported, like Ru1 had just teleported to lane and gets almost bullied out of it and forces flash as well. So that's really great from M2. It does tell you that they were doing pressure on that bottom side. They got the dragon, exactly what I wanted them to do, and now they're getting some bullying here on this bottom side. This is the activity I wanted out of them.
Yeah, but look at this CG.
Ooh, close.
Gonna be looking to see if he can get one more flash here from Captain. Oh, look at that stun into the stun, and that is gonna be another kill for Colombia. Down to the bot lane.
Yeah, and you got that flash forced out of Runic as well, so well done on them. Here comes the ghost from Messi. He's looking for it.
He's gotta go for it. He's gotta do it. There's the dunk, but I think Shump lives here.
Magical sap.
Oh, all right. You hate to see it.
Yeah, he might, like, if it was just a tick or longer, he would have been able to survive, but that was the final tick to end his life. No, that's just, it's just tragic. You got the summoner spells forced, but now you don't have teleport to go and try and catch up again. But Boy is like totally fine with trying to just take down this red buff by himself. Like, this is absolutely ridiculous. Like, he doesn't even know Slime Blob is right here, and he's 100% confident that he doesn't know where the jungler is, so he can just take this red buff because of how strong Messi is.
And he's gonna be able to take that one quite safely. And is he gonna start? Okay, he's not. It's just procced because of the bomb of Cinder there. But either way, yeah, right now Slime not really having its strongest performances on this Chrono, has just been failing to be proactive on the map, and too playing on a nice edge there. Almost gets taken down by the Cinder ult.
Pretty close. Didn't use his summoners either, so he still has those on board. And he does have some health potions in his pocket as well, so he can keep chugging up if needed to. I did see that ball slap him on the back again, so he's got to be very careful. So he's got the vision around him though. Like, look at the vision wards that he has on both his top and bottom flank. Like, he'll know if Zach is around, praying around. So this is sort of that confidence that he has. He knows the things. Like, okay, time to play back at turret. Wait, I was about to say play back at turret, but he gets it.
There's the barrier though, and that's gonna feel really good for Amtu. He might be looking for one more, but I don't think. Okay, well, I think he wasn't able to spot out Zach. He was just off the tip of that control ward over to the top side. But either way, I think Ru1 really underestimating the burst damage here from the Vel'Koz, and that's gonna be the first pickup here for Brown. And you know, at the time where basically they technically do have two losing lanes at the moment, any kill in the mid lane helps.
Oh yeah, for sure. As long if I'm2's able to keep control of that lane, like, that was very well played by him. I'm astonished that he actually got out of that alive and didn't have to use his flash. Oogie gets some turn.
There's going to be the Target ultimate to save him a little bit. One-man stun, but CUG does not have the flash. Is that a flash in place by the Target? Either way, that's gonna mean that this Vayne lives, and 3 versus 2 in the bot side, and Colombia gonna walk away from that.
I think he might have tried to hit his heal, but he didn't hit the heal, he just hit his flash instead, and that's why he's sort of flashed in place. But the fact that they used all their summoners on the bottom side, barrier and heal now gone, means that you have a lot of freedom in this bottom side as Runic and Catmom to continue applying that pressure. Like, it was a perfect gank from Slime coming in through the lane instead and grabbing that massive trade in their favor. Now it's a question of, okay, well, where can we actually use this advantage, right? Like, you have this summoner spell differential in both mid and bottom lane. You don't have a dragon just yet. It's going to be up in about a minute, so I think that's where you keep your eyes on. Get some vision control around that dragon and prepare for that pressure once more.
Ooh, look at this once again, though. 3v2 in the bot side. Yugi does not have any summoners. In fact, no one from Colombia have any summoners. But look at this. The Vayne's looking to turn around. Canem gonna be knocking away the Vayne. Desire, that's 1 kill so far, but Dr. Catmon does have the ultimate. That's gonna be a 2-4-1 in the bot side. Very well done by Runic Sprouts, but now in the top side, Bishop doesn't realize he's gonna be in a little bit of trouble. Ghost is gonna get popped, and now this Maokai is looking like another tree cut down. Blood for Messi Walcott. He's going to be able to get the dunk onto him, and overall, it's a 2-for-2 across the map.
Too bad though, but I'd actually give that in favor of Brown University. Sure, you have a 0-3 Maokai on the top side, but all that pressure on the bottom end is in your favor, and Dragon is about to spawn. So for Brown, go ahead, get that vision, get control, get the Infernal Drake. Don't worry about the Herald, because you know that Faboy is going to be taking it. You do not have control over it because of how strong Messi is on the stairs. And seeing where Dench was when he got taken out is a little bit of a bummer, because he did not need to be there. This is something where, again, you had the wave pushed out. You have no right to actually be there. You cannot win those trades. So sit back at your turret and see if you can help out with teleportations around the map and assist your team to prepare for this dragon. So that's just with this site, you need to understand you're on this. And as a matter of fact, Steve, we do have the Ocean Dragon, so
Yay!
all hail.
All hail almighty Ocean Dragon.
It's going to be actually great for Brown University, because that makes it so hard to kill Maokai. Like, Dench will become unkillable with this Ocean Dragon if they don't get some sort of healing reduction. So, going to be absolutely spooky, and that puts some heat underneath Columbia College's butts, because you need to make sure that you're able to get the soul and deny it away from Brown University, who will just inevitably outscale you with both tank ability and damage.
Yeah, but Miwa on the top side right now. Messi Walcott gonna be looking to see if he can get one more knock in with this Rift Herald. He's gonna be able to take down the tower, get all 5 turret platings for himself, and then Shump is probably gonna be looking to hold on to that teleport for quite some time. Yeah, overall, it's just, you know, if you're Dench Shump, you know, the Ocean Drake is a little bit of a blessing in disguise that it will help you a lot in the late game, but the question is like, can you really get there, and how confident is Brown in when they are committing to these 4-5 team fights? As it looks like this whole entire game is just going to be Messi Walcott going to be on a side lane, and everyone else around trying their best to respond.
Yeah, but the at least nice sort of silver lining in all of this is you look at the composition of Brown University and say, how well can they efficiently peel a Darius? And, you know, you got a Morgana with the 3-second binding, so you're already in a little bit of a green light there, and means that you have to put Messi on that side lane, which, you know, it's great for mid-game performance. If you're able to get an inhibitor out of it, that's the result you want. Like, you want something that always is constantly providing pressure, but you do not, however, have a teleport on him. So it means that if you do get to a point of a standstill in these side pushes, the advantage goes over to Brown University, but they're making sure you always have that constant aggression on this top side.
Yep, and there is going to be the E from the Darius. Dunk gonna be coming in. Messi Walcott's just misses for him. 2 solo laners up in the top side. If you are Maokai, you gotta ask, why are they doing this to me now in the bot side? It's gonna be soon to be a 4-3. That's gonna be teleport gonna be coming in from Route 1. Catmom, though, gonna be maybe the first one to fall. Is gonna get stunned up. There's the cleanse coming out from Desire. But Tower Dive maybe coming up. But boy, a little bit greedy. Doesn't get his passive proc, but overall very well done by Columbia, but now look at this. Vel'Koz is in trouble. Dodges and sidesteps to E, has to flash away. There's the barrier Q, not gonna land anywhere. More kills for this Darius 5, and oh, Melcy Walcott is having the time of his life.
That kill just did not need to go over to Messy Walcott. I'm too little bit confident there. Just a tad. And the
break it
stun,
down.
that worked.
Power drive coming out from Seaweed. And yeah, he's going to be able to get that one for himself. But look at this trend. Going to be coming in from behind. He doesn't have any summoners, but let's see how the Vayne plays around this. There's going to be the challenging smite. There's barrier. He's doing his best at DPS, but overall Trundle is going to be able to get the shutdown for himself.
Vayne using that barrier though actually is pretty nice. Like, it's one little silver lining as well for them going into the next few stages. Like, about 90 seconds, you got a minute 30 on Ocean Dragon, so it actually might be up back in that time. Like, barrier has a surprisingly low cooldown, but it does also mean that with that advantage and that one-on-one that Solgi has, you cannot leave Runic Sprouts alone. Runic needs to go into this mid lane, grab some farm, and this is where at this point, 16 minutes in, a lot of turrets are still up, as a matter of fact. Like, you have two in favor of Columbia, but they're both in the top side. So for me, you continue to have Dense Jump in this top end, just trying to farm out as much as possible. But the other thing too is you could say, you know what, let's put I'm2 in that top side to catch waves, and then you put Dense Jump in the safe lane with the turrets, so he can farm safer but at a slower pace, right? So that's up to Brown University to determine what is really the best value that they can get out of that. And you have that dragon coming up fairly shortly, so you need the members down there and available, and you still have the teleport on Maokai at the ready, where there is no teleport for Columbia. They used theirs for that advantage in that bottom side to try and get that turret, which didn't turn out for the better for them. They got some kills, sure, but they didn't actually get massive pressure from that bottom invade.
Something to also really keep in mind here is that, you know, Maokai actually did take that magical footwear, so even though you wanted him to take that ninja tabis, he couldn't really do that in the early game. He was just not able to buy boots there. So, interesting to know. Broski gonna get taken down, but will there be any revenge kills coming out from Columbia? No, they will not. Right now, it's a 45, and the Dragon teleport is gonna be coming in from the Maokai. That's gonna be an ultimate, gonna be bursted down, but it's only gonna be able to grab the Darius. Zaya ultimate used a little bit early, but boy, now wants to go in. He's gonna be into 5 members of the team. Use ultimate. Here comes the Darius. He's gonna be looking to dunk, but so far he hasn't done that just yet. The rest of Columbia melt Brown, and they are gonna get taken down. An ace for Columbia.
That Zac ult was insane. Grouped everybody up in that fight, and it was just an absolute wild bout there for Messy Walcott and the rest of Columbia College to just wail on Brown University. There was no zoning that Brown could provide, and it just absolutely decimates them. That's not what you want for any situation for Brown University. You need to keep space, and when everyone's pumped in that death ball, it's just a perfect song for Columbia to sing. And now grabbing both neutral objectives off the board with the Ocean Dragon blowing their way and the Rift Herald. If it was just the Dragon, that would have been okay. You know, it's just one. Don't worry about it. It's the soul you need. But the Rift Herald as well going over to Columbia is just bad news for Brown University.
Yeah, that's going to mean another outer turret, or the second outer turret for the mid being taken down by the Rift Herald. And that's just going to be more objectives. And sooner or later, we're going to be looking at, you know, Columbia with a 10k gold lead. Currently up about 8k so far. And if you look at Brown, they just haven't really been successful in finding these fights, finding any picks. You know, I mean, they found the pick onto the Taric, but as a result, they all grouped up for that Zac to just completely decimate everyone. For boy, playing that fight really, really well, as he said. And now, as the game continues, you have to wonder, you know, what is going to be Brown's win condition? How can they really bounce back from this? I don't really see any form of damage coming out from them right now.
You got to keep your space. That's really what you need to do. Like, you have a lot of damage from I'm2 to grab those picks, but he's been able to find a lot of picks. Like, the 2 kills, sure, it doesn't seem like a lot, but the fact that he's been able to just, like, force someone to go back and reset at any given time is what they have the capability to do so. And he hasn't actually used it in a team fight yet, so think of that massive burst damage on multiple people. But the only thing is you need to keep space. You need to make sure I'm2 has no way to actually get sort of collapsed on. And the same goes for Runic. Runic can actually sort of feel for himself with Zaya. Like you have the Featherstorm, you have the untargetability to get away from any sort of incoming damage for a time. But he's like, Vel'Koz doesn't have that. He needs something or someone to help him out on his sides. And he's the only one defending this, which means like you don't have anyone helping.
Yeah, he's gonna be vulnerable to the full wrath of Columbia right there. Flash gonna be coming out for Boy, trying to get that Q pull in along with the ghost from Messi World Cup. They aren't gonna be able to get anything, but so far this Root Code is gonna be able to push Columbia 3 towers in a row. They are looking to get the inhibitor, and now they might actually be pushing for the game 20 minutes in. Let's see if Brown University can defend against this. The first Nexus turret going to be taken down. There goes Rift Herald there. Second one of the game, but now looks at this. Maokai's going to be able to go in. Rue 1 is going to get taken down, and the fight is going to be going on, but Columbia right now going to be in a little bit of trouble. 2-man stun going to be coming out. That's going to be Suki. Going to be able to get one more for his troubles. That's going to be 2 members. Dunk on another dunk. That's going to be a double kill onto the Darius and the rest of Columbia. It's just business, they say. Suki, see if he can get this kill onto the Vel'Koz, but no, it's the pull coming out from Messi Walcott. One more dunk should be able to do it, but no, he gets a double kill. On2 is able to get this game alive. Columbia may have just gotten a little bit too greedy, and this Zac is not going to be end the game. This game is still alive.
And the only curse to help them get back into this game is the fact that Columbia College is filled with KDA players. Trying to get that extra kill onto I'm2 means that they have the disengage, and Catmom here to help out I'm2 with this wave to push out. But, you had that fight. You saw how well the Columbia communicated with each other to collapse target after target, and Brown University was not in the position to defend in any way, shape, or form. They were all in mid lane when all of Columbia was rotating bot lane and diving onto I'm2 in the turret. So you see how those two interactions happened and played out. You just got to say, all right, Columbia, shake off that KD greed, go for this Baron. There's no way that Brown University can even think of contesting you at this point, because Faboy will just jump onto them with the help of Messi, and the game will be over. So it's just that question of how fast will they prime their hammer to drive that final nail in.
Okay. How fast will Columbia decide to take this game? Tart takes the last cone over. Broski was really looking for an opportunity to fight there, but no KDA for you, buddy. He's just going to be forced to back off here. The rest of Columbia are just lurking the top side of the jungle so far. They're not going to be looking at the Baron. They might just be looking at this mid tower, the easy objective to take on the map so far, along with the fact that bot lane is going to be pushing in their favor so far with that super wave.
Yep. This is a reminder. This is for the grand finals. Like, if you lose here, you're done. You're out. You do not get your redemption arc for Brown against Stanford. And Stanford's sitting here watching this game, seeing how both these teams are playing out, and they are definitely taking notes. So Columbia is on that back foot no matter what happens. And going in here, I don't know if a boy's gonna get Zac next time around. That's the thing that is on my mind coming in the next game, if Columbia is able to pull this one out. And now with Baron taken, it is that final nail that is being driven in, and it's just a matter of time as they march their way to top lane and towards the nexus of Brown University.
All right, Brown, they're going to go ahead and take the complimentary prize here with the dragon, but, that's going to cost you something. I don't think this is the greatest trade in the history of League of Legends right here. Ocean Dragon for potentially the game. Here comes Columbia. They're going to be looking to put in those final nails in the coffin, but no minion wave to take on that Nexus. So Columbia instead, what turned out to be a great trade for them is just going to set the stage up for this final fight. It's going to get popped. Look at this. The boys in the middle of everyone, and the rest of Columbia are protected by the Taric ultimate. No effect at all by that Vel'Koz ultimate, and KDA players, will they get this final kill? They will not. Instead, Columbia are going to be moving on to the grand. Okay, I'm dead. That's going to be grand finals here for Columbia. 1 for 4. They take the Baron for the Ocean Drake, and instead they take the Nexus to get the game.
Why can't you just have your cake and eat it too? KDA players getting an absolute ace, getting that final kill onto I'm2, and then grabbing the Nexus to boot, moving on to the grand finals against Stanford. I'm really excited to see how well Columbia College will be able to put up against Stanford in both of these teams' performances so far through this tournament. And it, for me, I can't really say anything more than say, "Hey, I am excited to see what these 2 teams are gonna be bringing
Right.
to the table." Like, it's something where it's better to keep it a mystery to see what concoctions they're gonna pull up, what compositions they'll draft, because at this moment, Stanford is taking as many notes as they can. Columbia College is coming in blind. They have some notes and stats, sure, but it's nothing that Stanford will have a fact of spectating an entire game and saying, "Alright, these are the weak points, these we can exploit," and it's just up to a matter of time on what these 2 teams are able to figure out.
Yeah, and if it's makes this more exciting is that this is going to be the first time Columbia will be meeting Stanford in the bracket. So everything's up in the air. What I'm personally excited for is Messi Walcott against Toxicity in the top side. Both of these guys had very strong performances. Granted, Denshump definitely taken a beating by both these top laners. But you got to hand it to Denshump. I mean, he came in with a plan to play to Maokai any
Yep.
game he could, and you know, he's he's outdone himself. He's really committed to that strategy, and you gotta hand it to Brown, making it a fantastic run throughout the tournament. But if there's something else we have to pinpoint that's also fantastic, dude, we have blown past our original goal for the
Yes.
$5,000 donation mark for the Ivy Plus versus Go COVID-19 charity stream, and in fact, we're basically double that amount right now. It's pretty amazing seeing how much we have done as a community for this charity stream. And let's go ahead, let's make that push for 15K, as we are going to be nearing those grand finals.
Excited to see what will happen. But, I think right now, take a break, chill out,
Yep,
and
you know
see
it.
how these 2 teams are gonna figure each other out.
100%, dude. We are in for a treat in this grand finals. Once again, it's going to be Columbia taking on Stanford. Folks, take a breather, get your food ready, get your snacks, pop some water, stay hydrated, folks. But to conclude the Ivy Plus versus COVID-19 charity tournament, we are going to be looking at a fantastic grand finals between these 2 teams. Folks, myself and Coco will be right back. Don't go anywhere. You don't want to miss this.